Hi, it's the Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I wanted to start a declutter series. It's been a while since I've done a declutter series. I think the last time was fall of 2019. It's been a little bit, but if you're curious to watch that declutter, I will leave it for you here. There's a whole playlist. But I'm going to start with a product that I have bought time and time and time again. Different formulations, different brands, always in search for the mythical unicorn of concealers. I have always been looking for the one concealer that is going to get rid of my dark circles, that is going to cover up my age spots, that is going to hide any blemishes that I have, that is going to do all of those things, but I don't want like 5 different ones. I want one that'll do it all. You know, there's not a product like that. Like, I'm learning now after 20 plus years of searching for the perfect concealer, there is not a product like that. But I have my concealer split up into high-end and drugstore, and I wanted to show you what I have and then decide which ones I'm keeping. You know what I haven't done is I haven't counted to see how many there are. Let's find out. I have 22 concealers. 22? That's too many. One product I know I can get rid of is this one here from Beauty Pie. This is their Unbeatable Concealer. I have the shade number 45. This I think is the lightest shade they make in this. It's a pot concealer. It comes in a really nice little compact. I like that about it. But I noticed when I first got this, I loved it. And then I started noticing that it started like making my under eyes look drier. It made them look older. It was settling into the crepey areas. And I know that every product that I put underneath my eyes is eventually going to settle in between the lines, okay? But this did it really quickly. And even though it is kind of a pot concealer, it is, I mean, there's a lot of coverage to this. I find that it ends up, it's not good for my under eyes, and that's what I bought it for. I can use it over the rest of my face, and when I do that, like if I use it over my nose to cover redness, I find that it settles into the pores and I have like these little small pinpoints of concentrated color. This just doesn't work for me. She's on her way out. All right, another one that didn't work for me for sure is this Mega Last Incognito from Wet n Wild. I love the price point. I love that it's available at the drugstore. And I think this would work for a lot of people, but because I do have not really dry under eyes, but they're drier than the rest of my face, which is normal to combo, anything that makes them look dry really ages me. And this definitely aged me. And it was not a good look. It made me look at least 10 to 15 years older right in this under eye area. Ugh. So this one is definitely not sticking around. One that I love, this is definitely a favorite of mine. This is the Age Perfect Radiant Concealer from Loreal. I have the lightest shade in 200, it's shade Ivory. It's a really skinny little package. I wish you got a little bit more product in here. But this is one that actually I can tap in with my fingers or a beauty sponge, and really I don't have to like set instantly with powder because it doesn't instantly start settling into the crinkles. Every other one I own does that, not this one. I feel like the color is good. It's kind of medium coverage. Love this one, definitely sticking around. Another one that I like, but I wish I had a different shade in, is this one from Flower Beauty. This is their Light Illusion Concealer, and I have the shade L12. This was the lightest shade they made when I first tried it. I don't know if they have more shades now. My understanding was they were expanding their shade range, which is great because Flower really needed to do that. A lot of their foundations and concealers just were not in a wide enough shade range to meet all skin tones. I feel like the consistency of this is good. I don't know that I would repurchase it, but I definitely feel like I could finish it, so I'm gonna hang on to that. Oh, Colourpop. Colourpop, Colourpop. I have wanted to love the Colourpop concealers. I used to really like the original Colourpop No Filter concealer, and as I got older, it did me no favors. This one here, I don't know, it's pretty fresh. I have the shade Fair N20. It's okay. I just don't reach for it. I have had this for like a year and a half, and the fact that I had to pull it out of a drawer, it wasn't even where I had the rest of my concealer sitting like right here on my beauty table. That lets me know that if you've been sitting in the drawer for a year and I have not reached for you, I don't need you. Another one that was sadly in the drawer was this one from Juvia's Place. And I don't think it's the formulation. I haven't tried it recently. For me, I think it was basically the fact that it was too light. I have the shade number 23. I think it's the second to lightest shade. And yeah, That's what it looks like. It is creamy. It is a little bit more on the matte side. I like that you get a ton of it. There's like a lot of product there, and it is really like full coverage. Like when you start blending this in, she covers. I like that. I just feel like this wasn't the right color for me, and it was like brightening under the eyes, but almost too much. One that I recently repurchased that I have been loving and using a lot is the Instant Age Rewind from Maybelline. I have the shade 100 Ivory. I really like this. I've used more than I thought I would in the maybe 6-7 weeks that I've had it. I've been reaching for this a lot. I think it's a great concealer. I like that it's not too heavy. I like that it doesn't accentuate the crepey dryness that I have underneath my eyes. Like this a lot. This is a drugstore gem for sure. So I have 3 left from the drugstore. This is one that's new to my collection from Makeup Revolution. It was kind of my attempt to find a color corrector that would work, and someone recommended this to me at Ulta. This is the Conceal and Fix Ultimate Coverage Concealer, and it has salicylic acid in it. I'm like, do I want salicylic acid underneath my eyes? But this is what I'm wearing today. It does give some pretty heavy coverage. It's a pot concealer. You get a ton. And it's one of those that it's not quite as emollient as the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Manage, which I love, and it's been my go-to color corrector. But this actually works pretty well. It's quite brightening. I don't know that it corrects the darkness I have underneath my eyes as much as the Charlotte Tilbury, but this really hides it pretty well. So I'm gonna hang on to this for now. I have always liked the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I've never tried the mattifying one because I don't need a matte dry concealer underneath my eyes. I just know it's not gonna work. But this one is a $6 option at the drugstore. I think it's really good, and they've got a really wide range of shades, so I'm gonna hang on to this. And I'm kind of wondering, since I haven't reached for this in a while, if I can let this one go. This is from Makeup Revolution. This is their Conceal and Hydrate. I have the shade C3. You know what? I kind of want to swatch these, and let's see, because I know I don't need all of these. I actually think this one's a good concealer, and I used to have a different one from Makeup Revolution in this shade. This one feels a little pinker. Oh yeah. So if we're looking at it, this is the one from e.l.f. This is the one from Makeup Revolution. It looks more neutral on my hand here, but it is definitely pinker. It's not as good a match for me. I'm gonna let that one go. But I do like the formula of their Conceal and Hydrate. I feel like it's a great drugstore option. I don't know that I like it more than the one from e.l.f. though. All right, so out of all of my affordable concealers, I'm keeping 5 and I'm getting rid of 5. Half. That's actually really good. Let's move over to the high-end ones. This is one that I've had forever. I'm getting down to like hardly any left. There's a lot of product in here. This is the Born This Way, the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. You get ½ an ounce. It's a lot of concealer. It also is one of those that has a super chunky doe foot, which I really like. But I've had this one for a while, and I am determined to finish this. Love it. And there are days that I just like kind of swipe it everywhere on my face with a little bit of moisturizer, blended in, tinted moisturizer. Beautiful. All right. These two from Tarte. One is the creamy version of Shape Tape. This is the original Shape Tape. I'm gonna let this one go. The only thing that I use this for is when I have like a really stubborn blemish that is just not getting covered. And I feel like I have a different option for that, and I'm gonna let this one go. I know Shape Tape is a lot of people's holy grail. I used to love it. I used to swear by it. It's probably my 3rd or 4th container of it, and I use very minimal amounts of concealer on my face. But now that I'm older, it just doesn't sit well underneath the eyes. The one that's the creamy formula does, but I don't know that I love it. I've just purchased it in the last maybe 2 to 3 months. I'm gonna hang on to it and keep trying it. I do find that I do actually reach for it. I have 2 shades of the stuff from Cover FX. This is the Power Play. There is a shade that is too light, and I should have returned it before I couldn't anymore and exchanged it for this. This is the shade I'm gonna keep. This is Light and Light 1. And this one here is N Fair 2, so I'm gonna let go of the lighter one and keep the shade that actually works for me. This used to be my favorite corrector, and I had it forever, and they don't make it anymore. So I'm gonna let it go, but it kind of makes me sad. It's the Lancome Maki Complete. I loved this for years. I remember using this in my 20s while I was in college. And the fact that it's 26 years later and I still have one, I think that really speaks to, maybe it's nostalgia for me, but I really feel like it's a really great corrector. This is one though that is more yellow based, and it worked okay. It's not too heavy. It is hydrating under the eye, but I've had that one for a while. I think it's time to let it go, and the fact that you can't go out and purchase it, also another reason to not hang on to it. This has to be one of my all-time favorite concealers. This is from Bare Minerals. This is their Bare Skin Complete Coverage Serum Concealer. I know they came out with a new concealer, and I kind of wonder if they still have this. Give me a moment while I check my phone. I was just on the Bare Minerals website, and I cannot see their Complete Coverage Serum Concealer anywhere. Has this been discontinued? She's not going anywhere. I'm going to use it to the last drop. I love this concealer. She stays. But I'm so sad that I can't get another. I hate it when that happens. Why is it always that my favorite things get discontinued? It's not the first time Bare Minerals has done this to me. I still have issue with them about their bronzer. All right, so I do also like and will be keeping this Soft Matte Complete Concealer from NARS. I have the lightest shade in Chantilly. I actually have used quite a lot of it. I've had it for a while, but this is what I use when I can't really seem to get anything else to cover up like redness around my nose or blemishes that I have. This works really well. It's not too heavy, and it says soft matte. It's more like a demi matte. I can use this under the eyes, but I have to be having like a really good skin day, and I have to have some really good hydration under there. I used to be able to use it under the eyes no problem, but the older I get, I save this for like spot concealing when I have like spots like this, or I've got a blemish. This works really well, and it's a little bit on the thicker side, which I do like. So this is my favorite corrector ever. This is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Magic Vanish. I have the lightest shade in 01. Obviously I've hit pan. I love. I need to get another one, but I'm trying to find other correctors that are a little bit less expensive than this. But maybe why should I compromise on what I know I love? Maybe I just need to get another when she runs out. So one of the other correctors that I got trying to find a good, less expensive alternative to Charlotte Tilbury is this from Fenty. This is their Bright Eye Fix. And I got the lightest corrector shade because they have correctors and concealers. This is Rose Quartz. I was steered wrong, and I should have gone with my gut and not gone with the recommendation from the Sephora representative, but they told me I needed this because I am fair. Yes, I am fair, but this shade actually only highlights my dark circles. It kind of intensifies them a little bit, and it's not enough coverage because when you really start to blend it in, like where you can't see it, it doesn't give enough coverage. I do happen to like their concealer shade in Seashell, which is I think shade number 3. It's the second lightest. This works really well for me on days when I'm wearing very light makeup, and it's a little bit warmer, not quite as pink as the corrector, and it blends into my skin beautifully, where this one ends up looking just a little bit, I don't know, white, almost grayish, and kind of makes my under eyes look a little bit darker. So I like the concealer, not the corrector. I don't know if I should pitch the corrector. I use it, but I don't love it. Oh, it was $20 what dollars? Oh, see, this is the dilemma. If I'd had it for at least 6 to 8 months, there would be no dilemma. I'd be like, goodbye, I don't like you. But because I just got it a couple months ago and I can't return it now, I'm gonna hang on to them. But only because it's new, not because I love it. This is the last concealer I have to share with you today. It's from Uma Beauty. It's their Stay Woke concealer. I have the lightest shade that I could find at Ulta. I did not know that they actually make lighter shades than this. They have a 0.75 and a 0.5. This is the T1 shade, and it was the lightest one I found on the display, so I was like, must be the lightest one they make. And I was like, yeah, maybe. It's too dark. It's way too dark. I like the consistency. The one thing about this that I will tell you, there are some concealers where you can swipe it on your face, swipe it everywhere you need it, and then just start blending it in. Not this one. Put it where you want it, tap it in or blend it in with a brush or a sponge. This is not one that does well just kind of like swiped all over, because then it's hard to actually blend in thoroughly. So where you need it, blend it and keep going. But I think I'm gonna let this go because the shade is not right for me. Although it is a good concealer, and I would be curious to try it in a shade that works for me. And I just decided maybe it is, don't hang on to stuff you don't like the shade of, even if you just bought it. So I'm gonna let go of the Fenty. Let me count up how many I'm getting rid of. So I'm getting rid of 10. I feel like that's really good for me. I tend to hang on to stuff, especially like that Fenty concealer. I just bought it and I can't return it. You know what? I need to be more on the ball about that. That was a me problem. And I'll tell you, remember that if you get something that you don't love, you can return it to most retailers, even if you've used it. So don't hang on to stuff that is the wrong shade or makes your under eyes look dry or slips and slides around or doesn't give you the coverage you need. Do not do that. Take it back, get your money back, exchange it for something that will work. I feel like I have a good split of high-end and drugstore, and I like that. I love that I've started doing a declutter. I'm gonna try and do one a week until I get through my entire collection. Let me know what you wanna see me declutter next. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Have an incredible day, and I will see you again soon.